Andy Milburn commanded a special operations task force fighting the Islamic State in Iraq. But the retired Marine colonel says he's never seen atrocities like the ones committed by the Russians in Ukraine.
I've seen a lot of devastation and depravity of mankind in war. Bucha was something that really, it left me numb for several days. Family vehicles, every occupant killed, not just one or two, not just because soldiers were trigger happy, but clearly targeted all along that road from Irpin to Bucha. It just left me with such a feeling of contempt and anger that I never felt for the Islamic State, for instance, was one of them. I never felt that for Al-Qaeda.
Milburn traveled to Ukraine in March, intending to cover the conflict as a journalist, but he quickly decided he needed to get involved.
It seemed as though just writing about stuff wasn't really at all satisfying.
He formed the Mozart Group, a team of special operations veterans training and equipping Ukrainian soldiers. The name was intended as a counterpoint to the Wagner Group, a notorious Russian mercenary organization.
As far as a full-time cadre here in country, it's probably around 10 to 15. It varies, but we rotate people through at any given time. We'll have about 60 personnel in country, all of whom are volunteers, by the way, because we depend totally on donations.
They train Ukrainians in tactics and help secure them gear, but the Mozart Group doesn't fight.
But it's really important that we get guys in who are not adventurers. They're not here to get their gun on. They're here because they have moral clarity. They see a purpose here, and they want to be here for that reason.
Milburn says he's seen little evidence that the billions in military aid authorized in Washington have reached the front lines, although Ukrainian officials say U.S. weapons have made a critical difference.
They're short of individual first aid kits. They're short of body armor. They don't have gloves, they don't have eye protection. They don't have ear protection. We saw a unit the other day where they evacuated 6 guys with ruptured eardrums in one day.
He's been impressed, though, by the bravery of Ukrainian soldiers.
There are guys who, with a handheld weapon like the Javelin or the NLAW or an RPG, knock out 2 or 3 T-72s in the course of a day and not even think it was worth discussing.
Milburn believes his team has made a difference.
I can tell you without any proof that I am confident that we have probably saved Ukrainian lives. I hope inflicted more pain on the Russians because of the training that they've had.
The Mozart Group even rescued a dog named Richie.
When he was frozen and starved, he's still emaciated. We're trying to fatten him up.
Richie's hardest days may be behind him, but Milburn says Ukrainian forces are about to face their toughest challenges as the war concentrates in the east. And he plans to remain in the country trying to help.
Joining us now to talk more about this reporting. It's a great spot, Ken. Talk to me more about, because this colonel, the retired colonel, who seems pretty frustrated with what the White House is doing. What does he want?
Like a lot of people who have seen this horror up close, he wishes the United States could do more. And he has no patience for the claim by the Biden administration that certain steps would be escalatory. So, like, the Ukrainians have a wish list for weapons they don't have right now, like rocket launchers and ship-killing missiles. He wants all that to be sent to them yesterday. He wants the U.S. to be leaning further forward.
He says he hasn't seen much evidence of some of these American weapons getting to the front lines. Now, just because he hasn't seen it doesn't mean it's not happening, right? Billions of dollars have been spent trying to get some aid and some military aid specifically to Ukrainians. How does that? You cover national security, you cover everything related to sort of the defense sphere here. How can the U.S. know that the money that it's spending and the weapons that it's sending is getting into the right hands?
This is a question we are trying to answer right now, Allie, and it's not an easy question. The Pentagon basically says, for the record, once the weapons reach Ukraine, we don't really know what happens to them. We don't quite believe that. There are people in the United States tracking this, but there are reports. We're talking to Ukrainian soldiers, our people in the field, and they're saying, I haven't seen an American weapon. So there's some inconsistency here, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it. Clearly, some of the weapons have gotten through. The Javelins have been very effective. Right. But is there corruption? Are there logistical supply chain problems? That's what we're trying to find out right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.